Here's how to install our OCAM snorkel for the 79 series Landcruiser. Lay out all the hardware and familiarize yourself with the kit. The longer black M4 bolt is used for the rear guard mounting point on the snorkel, and the 4 shorter ones are used for the pillar bracket. The threaded stud and large washer mount to the brass nut on the front section of the snorkel, and the rivets are used to attach the snorkel pipe extension to the airbox. The paper templates are designed to indicate where excess material needs to be trimmed on both the outer guard, inner guard, and factory airbox. Start by removing the 4 12mm bolts holding the snorkel to the body. Then undo the hose clamp connecting the airbox to the snorkel with a 10mm socket. When removing the factory snorkel, you'll need to slide it backwards to disconnect it from a small clip holding it onto the outer guard. Remove the gasket with a 12mm socket and use a trim tool to carefully remove the clip. Undo the second hose clamp connected to the airbox and remove the entire airbox. We will need to modify this later. There are 3 10mm bolts holding in the factory airbox, 2 on the outside and 1 on the inside. The third bolt closest to the radiator reservoir is mounted upside down, so use a 10mm spanner to get that one out. Remove the airbox entirely and the factory snorkel hose. Cut out the outer guard template and use some masking tape to attach it to the vehicle. Use the top edge and corner seam for alignment and make sure that the template is laying completely flat against the outer guard. Use a paint pen or any other bright colored pen to mark out where you need to cut. Then use a hole punch to mark where you'll need to drill out the mounting hole. Use an air saw or angle grinder to cut out the panel and drill out the mounting hole using a drill bit and then wire it with a step bit. File down the edges to remove any burrs or rough edges, then paint protect the exposed metal. With the inner guard, cut out the template and mark where you need to trim, then repeat the same cutting and paint protecting process. Do a quick test fit with the snorkel to make sure everything lines up. If it doesn't, just make additional cuts. Next, we'll need to modify the factory airbox to accommodate the tubing extension for the snorkel. We've marked in blue where sections need to be trimmed or filed down. This is also included in your manual that comes with the kit. The ribbing on the bottom and the sides need to be sanded flat, while the factory tubing will need to be cut off. And this is what it should look like once that's done. Cut out and attach the airbox template with some masking tape. The dots on the template indicate where the holes will need to be drilled for the rivets. Use a hole punch to mark these holes for drilling. The center hole in the template shows where the airbox will need further trimming as well. Mark it out with a pen and cut using an angle grinder or air saw, then drill the holes for the rivets. Hold the tube extension up against the airbox and begin drilling the rivet holes into the extension. Once you drill 2 holes, you can push rivets into them to temporarily hold it in place while you drill the rest of the holes out. Don't fully seat the rivets yet, this is just to hold the 2 pieces temporarily in place. Take everything apart and add some silicone sealant around the edge of the airbox cutout, then rivet the tube extension in place. Add additional sealant to the outer edges of the extension to make an airtight seal between the 2 pieces. Give the airbox and tube extension a quick blow with an air compressor to remove any debris inside. When fitting the snorkel, screw in the threaded stud into the base of the brass nut on the snorkel and add some thread locker to it. This stud goes through the hole we drilled earlier and uses the nylock nut and large silver washer to attach from the inside of the outer guard. The longer black M4 bolt screws into the rear mounting point with both a flat and spring washer. Attach the top pillar bracket to the snorkel with the remaining M4 screws with spring and flat washers. Slide on the hose clamp to the tube extension and add a good amount of silicone sealant to the inside of the tube before sliding it into place on the snorkel. Again, we want enough sealant to create an airtight seal. Then mount the airbox back into its factory position using the 3 10mm bolts that we removed from before. Remember that the bolt closest to the radiator reservoir screws in upside down. Reinstall the airbox filter, lid, and tighten the hose clamps on both the snorkel side and the intake side. Then you can mount the air ram. Here's a quick before and after of what the snorkel looks like compared to stock. And there you have it, your OCAM snorkel is installed.